Joining me now live, Grover Norquist. He's the president of Americans for Tax Reform and the leading conservative. Grover, good to see you.
Good to be with you.
Grover, so what do you make right now of Dan Sr. saying in some ways that the GOP is overplaying its hand? Is the conservative movement in a better place than it was 6 months ago? And or is it at risk of overplaying its hand, as Dan seemed to suggest?
No. Dan says the left will try and claim that the right is overplaying its hand, and he's quite right. That's what Obama and Reid and Pelosi and all the advocates of several $1 trillion more taxes and spending are saying. Why are these people unhappy? In point of fact, if you remember 6 months ago, Obama was running around saying that he was the one, and his supporters were saying that they'd changed politics forever. Now the polling data shows that his support has collapsed. The support, a majority of Americans oppose his government takeover of health care, even in its more modest incarnations. His support for the stimulus package has collapsed. When he called on his 13 million email names and asked them to, come down and tell Congress that he wanted to spend $1 trillion on stimuluses, he couldn't generate emails to speak of. The quote-unquote support for Obama's big government, he didn't campaign on that stuff. He promised no tax increase for 95% of Americans. 3 weeks into the presidency, he raised taxes on people who smoke cigarettes. The only person who makes more than $250,000 a year and smokes cigarettes named Barack Obama. So his first tax cut was on lower middle income. Tax increase was on lower middle income people. Then he spends almost $1 trillion on stimulus, and since we've had the stimulus bill, we've lost 2.5 million jobs. That worked well. And now he wants to take over health care, and he says what his job is to turn it into the post office. He said this in New Hampshire, that his model is a government-run health care system like the post office, Grover, which competes with FedEx and UPS.
Grover, let me get let me get Karen Finney in here. You hear a lot of things. Grover's clearly offering a view of the world that I suspect differs from your perspective.
I do differ, and Mr. Norquist, I definitely want to be respectful. Obviously, the president actually has also made clear that he's not going to raise taxes on people who earn less than $250,000 a year, which was the campaign promise. But I wanted to. He actually didn't. But I want to ask you a question about what's happening with the conservative movement, because I think what we're seeing is, many on the far right, the sort of the birther movement and the Tea Party movement, moving the party away from the center, and it's unclear to me who's the leader of the Republican Party, who's the leader of the conservative movement, and how do you bring that back, so that you can have broader appeal?
Well, two things. The desire for individual liberty does not need leaders. Socialist, statist, big government people need leaders. What happened with the Tea Party movement, which Obama originally said he didn't know anything about and was completely surprised by, when somewhere over 600,000 people on April 15th had rallies across the country unhappy with his spending policies that are bankrupting the country. He's the only community organizing that Obama has done. If you want to know who the leader is, Obama has organized mainstream America against big government in a way that George Bush never did.
Well, respectfully, Mr. Norquist, so who is the leader of the Republican Party at this moment? And does the Republican Party and the conservative movement need to come back towards the center to broaden the base of the party? We heard a lot about that in the immediate aftermath of the election. Haven't heard much of that. Right. So far, the rhetoric has been, a lot of misinformation and a lot of what I would consider hate speech.
Okay. Asking if the Democrats would read the health care bill before they pass it is Obama's idea of hate speech. It's common sense for middle America. When the Republican Party takes the Ronald Reagan worldview, we have 60% of America supporting us. Obama's the minority position in wanting stimulus over spending and having the government double your cost of energy and on taking over health care. He's off in left field, and he has given us all the independence. Look at the polling data.
I do, Mr. Norquist, respectfully, the polling data says that 70% of the American people want the public option, and that includes 50% of Republicans.
That's an odd poll. If you go for the polls that have been run recently, The support for his government takeover of health care has collapsed. His own personal support has collapsed. And these people that are going to town hall meetings and asking questions, which the Democrats seem to think is un-American, are not getting answers that make them happy.
Hey, Grover,
if Obama was...
Grover, we're running out of time here.
If Obama was winning this debate...
I apologize. We're running out of time here. Final question to you. When you see some of the town halls, including the one in Pennsylvania, and I'm particularly focused on the one in Missouri with Representative Todd Akin from the 2nd District there, where people seem to clap at the notion of lynching. Is anything in these town hall debates, in your mind, on the conservative side going over the line, or no?
Well, I think some of the union goons that have been not letting people into these town halls is over the line.
I know you feel that way about the union side, but I'm asking right now specifically about the conservative side, which you know well. I understand that overall you think they've behaved properly, that it's good, energetic, participatory democracy. But I'm asking, have you seen anything as someone who watches closely that in your mind crosses a line?
Okay, in the videos that I've seen, I haven't seen anything problematic. We do know that some of the unions have been trying to cause problems and pretend they were right-wingers. They've been caught doing that, but it's not working for them.
Grover Norquist from Americans for Tax Reform, thank you so much for joining me. Look forward to having you back again soon.
You got it.
Here's your chance to weigh in on the healthcare debate. Just send me your tweets by heading over to our website, twitter.msnbc.com, and follow the link to my Twitter page. And